Welcome back, everybody. In this episode, we're going to work on the Mountain River logging contract. It's a long way to the top. And in the process, we'll also grab logs for the Pedro Bay logging contract. So we'll head to the logging site and get loaded up with 3 loads of medium logs and 3 loads of long logs to take to Mountain River Sawmill. Let's get started. We're going to take the back road into the logging station here. I am running with off-road tires at the moment. I do plan to, well, I'm thinking I'll swap these out for chain tires before we head into Mountain River, but that might also change. We'll see. I installed the all-wheel drive upgrade on the Kodiak that we found in Mountain River, and I also installed the high-range gearbox. The Kodiak's a pretty decent truck. I like it with the high-range gearbox because it has pretty decent power to weight ratio, and if you just put it in high, it really does work well. As you can see, it's powering through all of this stuff. I don't have to drop it down to auto at all. It's not even really slowing me down, which is a nice plus for a change. It's nice to get places without taking forever. It's kind of wobbling around with that log crane on there. It tends to get a little top heavy, but it's doing okay. Just throwing mud everywhere. As you can see, it really didn't take us long to get to the logging site here. I'm gonna go in on the road just to kind of see. Ooh, maybe not. That was nasty. It got stuck right away. Let me go in the way I normally do. It's definitely sloppy here. We'll stay on the main road. It's always a choice you have to make, right? Okay, here's our turnoff. Try not to tip over. This thing's a little squirrely, and I'm going to have to get turned around again before I get loaded. So let's just drop the trailer here. I don't want to drive any further forward because that is a mud pit right there to my right. So I'll grab onto the trailer with my winch and see if I can pull it around. There we go. All right, let's back this thing up just a little bit, and then I can get into a better situation with it. Hopefully better. Trying this one more time. Gonna pull real wide to the right. There we go. Now we've got it. We'll get the logging crane set up. It actually didn't really even need adjustment. That's good. And we'll start with medium logs. I'm gonna load up 9 logs for the 2 contracts, and then a couple extra, like I always do, just to be safe. All right, we got 6. Looks like we got 11 of them loaded up. Let's head back to the garage and we'll grab the GMC. And the GMC is gonna haul the long logs. I left the off-road gearbox in this truck because we'll be depending on that diff lock since we don't have the all-wheel drive upgrade yet. And I did not put chain tires on because also going to be depending on the tire traction. We'll take the highway up even though it's kind of slippery. We'll be okay. Just gotta drive slow. Gotta take it easy. This truck is pretty bouncy. All right, now we're at the turnoff here. We'll take this road in, and the logging station is directly across. Doing okay so far. It's getting a little bit slower. I'll use a winch here. Luckily, they put this tree on the ground in a good spot for me to use it, and then I'll just winch off the tree ahead of me, get me through the rest of it. I'm gonna try this truck through the main road. It does have taller tires than the Kodiak. The Kodiaks were 43 inch. This is 47 inch. I think we'll be okay. Heck yes. It would probably be wise to stay to the left in case I do need to winch off of these poles. I'll just put it in high. We're nearing the logging station, and to get loaded, we'll just pull up right next to the Kodiak. Kodiak can drop long logs into our trailer. Oh man, I thought I'd missed that corner, but I didn't. Got stuck right here. There it is. That should work. Now we'll jump into the Kodiak and we'll get 9 logs plus 2 extra. Be 11 long logs. All right, there's 6. Having some trouble with this loading dock. Okay, that should be 11 in both trailers. Now, we'll head out of here, back to the garage, and then I'm gonna swap trucks. I plan to use the Transtar to haul this small wagon trailer and logging crane, over to Mountain River, and then I'm going to put the long log attachment on the Kodiak, and we'll take that over there. So we're heading back to the garage in Northport. Just going to leave it in high. The truck is doing just fine. It's running pretty good up this road. It's starting to struggle here now. Nope, it's doing just fine. I do have to be careful through here. I'm sliding around pretty good. The trailer weight's pushing the back of my truck around. And the garage is just ahead. Now I'll just disconnect the trailer here before going into the garage, because we're going to swap trucks anyway. I didn't want to use the Transtar in the loading bay because it's a little too deep of mud. Probably can get over there, but it's not the best choice of truck for the job. So first thing I'll do is take this loader crane back off, and I'm going to put a log loader front on, and then we'll swap out to the chain tires. Now that's ready, we can take the Transtar. It has high range gearbox, chain tires, and the log loader crane all ready to go. We'll run over and grab that trailer and run this into Mountain River. Now that we're connected, the next stop will be Mountain River. Just going to take the highway all the way to the gateway. It's a little slow moving through here, not having all-wheel drive or diff lock, but it still pulls through just fine. It's a heavy load, this trailer is, but the logging crane balances it out, gives me some weight on my truck, so I'm not trying to pull a heavy trailer without any weight, you know, without any traction. This truck definitely cruises in auto. It has no issue getting up into 8th gear. All right, we're running up into the mountains, and the gateway is just around the corner. Here we go. Now that we're in Mountain River, I'm just going to take the highway all the way to the sawmill. So we'll cross the bridge and go grab some fuel, follow the bend up around the top of the mountain here. Then we'll go back down the highway, the steep hill, right to the sawmill. When we get there, we have two trucks, 2 or 3, I don't even remember for sure how many are sitting there, but we do have some trucks sitting there. We're gonna have to move them out of the way, and then we'll get positioned. Transtar does pretty good on these mountain passes, the paved roads. Grab some fuel real quick here, do a drive-by. I don't want to stop. Didn't quite make the corner though. There we go. Okay, we're going by the White Valley Gateway. Now we'll go down the hill. Just gotta be careful not to go too fast with this heavy trailer. It will push my truck right off the road sideways and flip me. It's under control. Now we're at the bottom. I think I'll just hold off out here on the road, jump into the Cat, and pull this out of the way. This is the first time we've driven the big Cat. Then we can jump into the Royal and pull this out of the way. We'll just back this Royal trailer right up to the shack over here. It's pretty solid ground here. Now we can get back into the Transtar, and I'm gonna pull up straight in the middle. That way I have room for my truck to load the other truck. It's kind of sloppy here, just leaving it in auto. Well, I guess low is doing the job too. Auto was digging it down. Just switch back and forth. I'll have to disconnect the trailer, get this thing moved forward, and then I'll winch it. Let's use the big Cat to pull this truck into place. The big Cat is pretty good for both the rescue truck and just using it for a lot of things like this. Yanking other trucks around that can't get through the mud. Shouldn't have any issue pulling it up there with this. And now I'll have to get it out of the way so I can get the Transtar just a little bit further forward. So we'll park this right over here by the logs, bring the Transtar ahead just a bit. That should work. Then I'll disconnect that trailer, pull ahead just a little bit, and I'll jump back into the Cat. We'll get this thing turned around so we're facing the trailer. It's not a very sharp turning radius on this. And I'll pull right up next to it, connect the winch, and pull it over backwards. Okay, there we go. Get those logs out and just pull the trailer right over the top. That worked. Get this trailer pulled up here out of the way, then get back into the Transtar. We'll back up and get into position so we can load up these medium logs onto the delivery truck. Now we can leave this here. We'll go back to Northport, and we need to pick up the White Western Star. We have a logging trailer already on this truck, but we're not going to need it. So let me disconnect. I'll get turned around. We'll run this trailer down to the trailer store. It's just down the hill, and we can sell it back there. We still have the off-road gearbox in this truck. I'm gonna leave the off-road gearbox in it. It's a bit heavier than the other smaller trucks we're using, and the high range gearbox just tends to be a little bit, I don't know, it's just not quite enough power to run it efficiently when it's fully loaded. So we'll just leave the off-road in it. I don't have the top engine in it at the moment, but that's okay. The trips that we're taking with it, we won't need it. We'll just get it put in later. Since we're up by the Mountain River Gateway, I don't see a purpose in going back to the garage just to put that engine in and then having to drive all the way back. The trailer store is just down the hill to the right here in this warehouse. The Stoltman Warehouse Factory, whatever this place is. Now that we've got that sold off, we'll get turned around and we'll head into Mountain River, down to the sawmill. Just cruising up the road, and then we'll take a left and head up the highway into the mountains. We'll get right into that gateway. Same as before, we'll just take the highway around the same path we took with the TranStar. We'll cross the bridge here and go up and around the top of the mountain and then back down the other side. Grab some fuel before we head over there. Going by the motel now with the truck stop, and the White Valley Gateway directly ahead, and then down the hill to the left. Now that we're here, just get pulled up right next to the TranStar and we'll get loaded with 2 loads of medium logs. There it is. I brought enough extra logs so that we can load up here for the Pedro Bay logging contract. It'll be coming up ahead. That'll help us out so we don't have to drive all the way either from White Valley or Northport to get that contract done. We can just leave from here with our trucks. It's a little messy looking, but I think it'll pack still. And will it? Yes, okay, it did. Turn that in. One more to go. Just raise it all the way up before I turn. Keeps it under control a little bit better. Drop them off right inside. Now we'll jump back to the other truck and pack them and turn them in. Now we can get the White Western Star loaded up for the Pedro Bay contract, and then we'll just leave it parked here with the logs already loaded. Now, one log that's not quite positioned correctly. This one here is falling off the truck. There we go. Get this thing out of there so it doesn't get packed in there. Okay, that did it. Let's pull this truck out of the way. I'm just gonna back it straight up and pull it out here onto the road where I know it can't sink. Right on the edge of the road anyway. We'll jump back in the TranStar, move this cargo, restore the crane, and then I'm gonna have to get this truck out of the way for now. So I think if I just pull it up here to the left, it'll be perfectly fine. That should work. Now we'll head back to Northport and get the GMC at the logging site. We'll take this back to the garage and I can load up, or not load up, but I can swap the tires out for chain tires. It should do a little better on the way back, I'm thinking, with the added weight in the trailer. Seems to be doing just fine. I'm not going to take the back road with this truck. I'll just make my way back out to the pavement and drive slow on the way back. Gonna have to winch my way out of here. Managed to get the trailer stuck on the tree, but winching off the side of the truck will pull the trailer around. We'll get through here. It's doing all right. There's plenty of stuff to winch to, so it's never really a concern of whether or not you can get through here. Now that I'm back to the road, I'll just take it easy so I don't crash on the way back. These tires definitely don't have the grip that they need for pulling a heavy load like this. Even though these logs aren't packed, they still have weight, and when you have 11 of them in your trailer, that weight adds up pretty quickly. Cruising back, definitely don't want to have to come over here with a loading crane and pick all these up. Now that we're here, same as before, we'll just disconnect the trailer out front here. The trailer does like to tip over, so I'm going to disconnect it looking from the front, make sure that if it starts to tip, I can reattach it quickly. And it kind of bounced to the side, but I think I'm okay. Yep, I'm fine. We'll leave that there and go run into the garage quick. And there we go. All right, let's get the high range gearbox in this, and we'll put on chain tires all the way to the bottom, 47-inch all chains. Get rid of these, and that's it. Let's head out. We'll go get connected and we'll head into Mountain River, same as before. Should be able to cruise a little better now with the high range It doesn't have a lot of power with the high range gearbox, but it has enough. All right, the next stop, Mountain River Sawmill. Trucking through here, kind of powers out a little bit. Just slap it back into auto, and we did just fine. It's a good truck. I like the GMC. A lot of times the highway driving, it's just best to put it in high and just leave it there. It's a good cruising speed. It's not too fast, but still fast enough to actually get somewhere. It's the guardrails you really got to watch out for. I took a pretty good crunch off of one here. Crossing the river again, getting pretty close to the gateway. Back up into the mountains. Here we are. Same as before, we keep taking the same trip, so pretty self-explanatory at this point where we're at and where we're going. Running past the motel again and right up over the top. Now we'll go by the gateway, White Valley, and go down the other side. Being careful. We got this. Just cruising down the hill here. And then let's pull up here into place. Same as before, I'll pull up right in the middle of the box. And it looks like I got stuck in the same place as before also. So, we'll use the big cat. That's why it's here, right? Support truck. I can see already that that trailer is going to be in the way, so let me get that pulled out of the way first. Pull it right up here by this Quonset. I don't even care if it's tipped over. Try to get facing the right way before I connect to this, so it pulls it into the spot that I want it. That should work. Perfect. Okay, change truck. Maybe might straighten out just a little bit more. There we go. Now I can detach. This is one situation where I don't mind if it tips over. Kind of going for that anyway. And the cat did such a good job last time, let's use it again to tip that trailer over. I'll just have to get around that slide right there. Not sure what they call that in the lumber business, the logging business, but in the oil field that would be called a beaver slide. I do know that. Nice. All right. So now we can connect to the trailer and roll it right over the top of the pile and a little bit further. There it is. And we'll leave that right there. Just back this up. And then the last thing we need to do, actually, let me see here. We got to jump back into the GMC. We'll get this moved out of the way. We got a lot of trucks all in one little spot here. We'll hook back up to that trailer and get everything moved. GMC is looking pretty muddy, but so is the trailer. The trailer's all brown. Don't think I got quite far enough. There it is. I'm gonna use the cat to winch off of and get me moving here. It's definitely sloppy in here, especially with all of the vehicles we brought in, all the driving. I'm gonna pull this around out here on the highway. Actually, I'm gonna pull this completely out of here and just go across the road to the service hub. I know there's a open parking lot over there that I can stage this truck in. Right across the road, and I'll pull it out of the way here. Sometimes the best place to get a truck is completely off-site, so you have room again. And we'll just back it in here right next to this service trailer. That seems like a good spot. This can stay here. Now we'll get back in the Transtar and we'll move that into position next to our pile of logs here and get the crane set up so it's ready to go. Looks like I got to move some of these logs out of the way for this outrigger. That one outrigger got pushed in pretty far. Okay, now that looks good. I'm gonna kind of try to drag this pile back a little bit. You know what? We're fine. Just how it is. All right, we'll leave this truck here. We're gonna go back to Northport one more time. We do need to go to the Northport garage. Now we can get the Kodiak. It has the high range, the chain tires, and the log carrier front. We should be good with this truck. We'll take this truck straight over there, and we'll just pick up a trailer when we get there, since there's a trailer store just up the road from the sawmill. That way we don't have to pull that log carrier trailer all the way there. Just drive bobtail. See, it gets through this stuff pretty good when you're not pulling anything. This little truck is fun to drive. It has a lot of power. Cruises right through this mountain pass. It's nothing. Doing good. Almost feels like the 90s when we're playing Cruising USA over here. Do have to hit the brakes though, otherwise I'm gonna lose it on this corner. I'm gonna grab fuel here this time. Because when I go into the Mountain River map, I'm going to take a different road that does not go by the logging station, by the gas station. Up in the mountains, getting close to the gateway. There it is, into Mountain River. Now this time I'm going to go straight up the road. I'm going to swing into the service site, service hub, whichever it is. That way I can get repaired. I hit a guardrail on the way here. I want to make sure the truck is repaired before we get loaded with the Pedro Bay load. So I'll just pull in here to the left, drive in, got repaired. Now we'll just back out and then head up the road, going around the pit by the gas station. We'll turn and go down by the factory. We'll grab a trailer at the factory and then drive down the road a little bit further to the sawmill. Just take it easy going through the barricades. It seems the best is to go right through the center of them, so it kind of pushes them off to the side. Well, I took some damage there anyway. No big deal. Now that I'm at the factory, I can swing in here, grab that trailer I need. The logging trailer is right here. Next stop is the sawmill, just down the road to the left, across the river. This time I'm going to pull in from the opposite side, and that way when I get loaded, I can pull this out onto the road next to the, or by the White Western Star. Maybe not next to it. It'll just be a straight shot out. This'll work. Let's get loaded up. And then the same thing, just grab some logs and start loading. All the way up. Turn it. Gently turn it. And then back down. As long as I can get it in there without losing it. Okay, we got 3 of them. Let's see if they'll pack. These ones are definitely more touchy than the mediums. It worked. One of them's turned in. 1 more load to go. So 3 more individual logs. That one might be a little too far back. We'll see. I'm just going to move it forward, even though it might pack, but I don't think it's going to, so I'll move it forward just a little bit. And then get the crane out of the way. It worked. Let's turn that one in. And the contract is complete, I guess. Apparently, I X'd out of it right away. From here, we'll just load up the last load, and this will be in preparation for Pedro Bay. That way we can get all of this stuff moved out of here, and we won't have to come back here and do this again. It's a pretty good jump start on that next contract too. We're basically halfway there from this point, instead of having to go all the way back to Northport or White Valley to get loaded and logs from those sites. So we've got 2. 1 last log. We'll just make sure that this packs. It did not pack. Which log is it? I believe possible that these ones are too far forward. So we'll just bring them backwards a little bit on the trailer and then try that. That worked. Now we can get back in the TranStar here. We'll remove this cargo and restore the crane. We can drive this out of here. We'll back it right up in here where we had it last time. It's a good parking spot for this truck. Now the Kodiak, will take this back out onto the highway, so we don't have to worry about it getting stuck here while we're moving to other places. The Kodiak does pretty good hauling long logs. We'll get a good taste of it when we take it into Pedro Bay here soon. Still need to scout that map out before we can start doing work in there. But like I said, we're all ready to go. Should be pretty good. That's going to be it for today. I guess we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Appreciate everybody being here.